Ladies and gentlemen, would you all join me in welcoming the members of the Webster Thomas High School graduating class of 2022. Thank you to Mrs. Watrous and her graduation band. Great job, everyone. Good evening and welcome to Titan Stadium and the commencement ceremony for the Webster Thomas High School graduating class of 2022. Would you all please rise for the singing of our national anthem and school alma mater, sung this evening by the Thomas Select Choir.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there, was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of America, the brave? Near the shores of Lake Ontario stands the school which we hold dear. Webster Thomas will make a promise to always keep you near. Without our moral compass will be alight, and together we will fight with our blue and white. Live forever, Titan pride.
I'd like to extend a warm welcome to all of our families and friends and those watching online tonight. Thank you for your support and encouragement that brought us to this joyous occasion on this beautiful night in Webster. First, I'd like to recognize some honored guests seated behind me. Our Superintendent of Schools, Brian Neenan, members of the Board of Education, Board President Tammy Gorowski, Jennifer Birdsong Ng, Linda Diogardi, Shayna Ladelfa, Board Vice President Janice Richardson, and Maria Regillo. And from our district administration, Executive Director of Student Services, Colleen Armstrong, Assistant Superintendent of Instruction, Aaron Land, and Director of Student Services, Andre Millette. On the other side of the stage, I'd like to introduce our class of 22 officers and today's featured speakers. Class President, Julian Beeman. Class Treasurer, Sophia Beeman. Class Vice President, Connor Bracey. Class Secretary, Carolyn Mack. And our student speakers this evening, Caroline Cunningham, Class Liaison, Jalen Morales, and Stephen Woodward. Yeah. And lastly, our faculty keynote speaker from the art department, and someone who provides me with daily inspiration through his work and passion for teaching, Mr. Todd Stahl. I also have a few folks to thank for their efforts that got us all here this evening, because this was a lot of work, believe it or not. I'd like to acknowledge all the people who helped make this event possible. First, our Thomas administration, Mrs. Anson, Mr. McBride, Mrs. Murray, and Mr. LaMonica, and in her last graduation before her retirement, Mrs. Kidd. So give them a round of applause, please. Next, the tireless work of our graduation coordinators, Mrs. Glosky and Mrs. Marcello, as well as all of our aisle angels, ushers, helpers, security, and everyone who helps make this a safe event for everybody. Round of applause for them, please. I'd also like to thank our AV-TV crew for keeping everything wired and functioning tonight. Live streaming our event. Up in the booth, we have Kathy Streit, Jenna Kuhlman, Paul Conley, Bill Eberts, and the entire AV-TV crew, so thank you to them. And lastly, our custodial staff, Mark, Alicia, Leslie, Danny, Mr. Lee, Billy, James, the whole crew who set up the field tonight and will be breaking it down early tomorrow morning. Thank you all for doing such a fantastic job. To begin our ceremony tonight, we'd like to honor students and guests who have or will be giving service to our country by joining the military. At this point, I'd like to introduce the members of the class of 22 who have committed to join the military upon graduation. Students, please remain standing as I read all the names. Joining the Air Force, Connor Collis. Joining the Army, Kaylee Collis, Jesse Denman, Caden DeWitt, and Devin Douglas. And joining the Marines, Kenzie Ives, Frank Russo, and Dylan Schmidt. At this time, I would like to invite all the members of our audience, if you have served in the military in any capacity or you are a first responder in our community, please stand up so that you can join this evening's recognition of service. Thank you, and on behalf of everybody here, thank you for your service to our country and for helping to keep all Americans safe. One of the things that excites me about tonight is that we're here in Titan Stadium by choice and not because we're adhering to a health guideline. This is the place where we decided that we're going to say goodbye to our graduates, and I couldn't be more happy about that for you and our community. We are so thankful to be here this evening on this great night in Webster. You don't know this, but tonight is part 2 of a 3-part plan that I had way back in 2006. So this is me in my first assistant principal office at Thomas with my family. There's Renee, Jack, and Luke. Luke's the one sitting on the desk playing with a paperclip. It's pretty ominous, isn't it? Look at that. We still let kids do that in 2006. So tonight brings me 2/3 of the way through my plan to give all of my boys their diplomas. Stay tuned for part 3. Most of you will not be here then, but it certainly is a night I'm looking forward to. Get ready, Stephen. You're next. June 22nd, 2028, right here at Titan Stadium. I'm sharing this with you because I want all the moms and dads and families to know how personal granting diplomas is for me. It's not lost on me the privilege that I have seeing your son or daughter's face as they walk up that ramp right over there. From when their name is read, there's about 10 to 15 seconds that are just magic for each one of the graduates tonight. For me, those 15 seconds are something I look forward to every year. They're the best. And tonight, one of those graduates whose 15 seconds will be very special to me, I now recognize each name, and I recognize that each name being read tonight is just as special to their families. The challenge for me in preparing these comments for tonight is how to make it personal and also create a message that can be shared by over 300 people, 300 families, I should say, in attendance. Having done this a few times, I found that ultimately a graduation speech is about giving advice and providing inspiration. So today I want to talk about 2 places we can go for advice and inspiration, our homes and our heart. Let's start with our homes. Graduates, a few months back on a very cold spring break day, I asked your moms and dads for help. I said, what message would you like to share with the class of 2022 and your graduate? They may have shared what they wrote with you, or the next few minutes are going to be a surprise. Either way, It's a message of love, and here are some of the words of wisdom that they came up with. My son, I hope you welcome the next chapter in your life with an open heart and an open mind. Life is just beginning, and it truly can be whatever you want it to be. My wish is that you never stop trying to better yourself, every day in every way. Challenges will come and times will be hard, but I hope you can harness the optimistic, excited feelings about life you have now to help combat whatever obstacles you face. To me, life is better when you try to make each day a little bit better than the last. Always be willing to try something new and step out of your comfort zone. The world needs you now more than ever. You're the future, and from what I've seen, the future is bright indeed. Always do your best, never give up, and be relentless in your pursuit of betterment. Be the person you're destined to be. Do great things, inspire others, and have a perpetual thankful heart. Learn and teach. Evaluate your game. You got this. There's no doubt in my mind, if you live this way, you will reap the rewards of a healthy, happy, and prosperous life. Good luck to you all. Go and be great. Another message to our daughter. We are so proud of the person you have become. I would also say that you've cultivated some pretty special friendships and with some pretty great human beings who think deeply about life and the current state of the world. You will not, however, stand by and witness someone being treated unfairly or bullied. Our daughter is all about acceptance, kindness, tolerance, and love. The world is a pretty uncertain place right now, and she's managed to navigate it with the utmost determination and grace. Her father, brother, and I couldn't be more proud of her and are excited to see what her next chapter will be. Another message, a note from a mother to a son. Johnny, never doubt that you are valuable and powerful and deserving of every chance and opportunity in the world to pursue and achieve your own dreams. Remember, you only fail if you stop trying. Never forget that whatever you go through, no matter what, I'll always love you and be proud. Love, Mom. One parent said advice to the whole class. They had it all. No class, we hope, will ever be like them again. And through it all, they made the best of it, and we hope stronger for the changes come quickly after high school. We also hope the color yellow will always hold a special place in their hearts. I'm honored to be a parent of a 2022 graduate. These students have come through a different version of the world than known by any of us. They've lost much of their high school years, were challenged to look at the world in new ways, and committed to completing all of the tasks in front of them to get to this point, no matter what it looked like. We celebrate the students with strong academic achievement and participation, but we also celebrate the students who just got by. We celebrate that despite all the obstacles, physical and mental, you tried, and you did enough. No matter what it looks like, you're here, you have completed high school. What an amazing achievement. No matter the path you choose, do so with pride, confidence, and joy. So thank you to the parents who sent in these messages. How many of you here tonight would have sent a similar message or feeling for your own graduate? The themes expressed are timeless: resilience, optimism, excitement, love. We all feel this way about our graduates here tonight and the class of 2022. So we've heard advice from our homes, and now we look at our hearts. And this is the hard part, because as a dad here tonight, I can only speak for myself. So when I tell you what's in my heart, here's what I have to say to the class of 2022. I know I've told you this before, but you have been a very special class to me, and I really have loved being your principal. It was a lot of fun. 2 pieces of advice. Number 1, don't lose sight of where you came from, your home. The lessons learned in and out of the classrooms are over, and after you walk the stage later tonight, you're all headed in 310 different directions. As you've learned in the past 4 years, there will be sickness, there will be wars, there will be times when you are walking in a dark tunnel and you feel like you have a mask on your eyes instead of your mouth. Parents, you know what I'm referring to. Some of you may feel this way right now, sending a child off to college or the military. Graduates, you have an entire community at Thomas and Webster rooting for your success. Don't forget that. Second, a few weeks ago at our SUMA breakfast, half of the students said that the senior pep rally was their favorite high school memory. Why? Sure, it was a fun week, but you had all also lost your junior year pep rally. So what's the lesson we can learn from this? I think it's that don't wait until you lose something to start to appreciate it. This will always be the field where you scored touchdowns, scored goals, or made a tackle. This is the field where you had your best pep rally, and I must say you pulled off an amazing dance routine to capture the spirit stick. And today, it's the place where you graduated from high school. So always plan for the future, but remember to enjoy the moment you're in. And finally, what advice would I give my own son from the heart? Luke, where are you? I think he's over here somewhere. Luke, having your dad be the principal, you didn't choose that path. And I know at times it may have been awkward. I'm going to miss you coming in for lunch and kicking your feet up on my desk like you own the place to eat your pizza, asking who got in trouble that day. I didn't tell him, by the way, that he kept asking and I wouldn't tell. I'm going to miss seeing you make new friends and start new relationships. I know you probably didn't get invited to some of the big parties, or maybe you did. Either way, I'm okay with that. Each and every moment, me and your mom have been proud of you and the young man you've become. We know you're going to do great things and will always be an upstanding guy, a great brother, and a role model to Stephen. Just had to swallow one more time. So when I hug you in front of all these people tonight, and it might be longer than that 15 seconds I referred to earlier, our pride is beyond measure. Follow your heart wherever it goes. You have the tools, so use them and do great things. I got through that better than I thought I was going to. So we're going to move on now. We have a great ceremony ahead of us tonight, and you and your classmates and Mr. Stahl have created some great graduation messages for you. But first, I'm honored to introduce our next speaker. This gentleman has served the Webster School District as a principal, assistant superintendent, interim superintendent, and currently as our acting superintendent. Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to introduce Mr. Brian Neenan.
Thank you, Mr. Weedor, and it was amazing advice, and thank you, parents, for also being a part of that advice, because, again, I've got kids myself, and it's something I'll be telling them as well. And welcome, everyone, to the commencement ceremony for the class of 2022. Titans, today is your day. Today, you become graduates of the Webster Central School District and proud alumni of Webster Thomas High School. Thank you to everyone who has played a role in getting you to this celebratory achievement. And speaking as a father, please take the time to give your family an extra hug today. As thrilled as they are for you to share in this absolute joy of this day, many of them still look at you and see you toddling across the living room for the first time, or climbing the stairs to the big yellow school bus for the first day of kindergarten. But here you are, ready for your day, ready to cross the stage to receive your high school diploma. Parents, grandparents, and family members, thank you for raising such outstanding young adults. They are thoughtful, creative, compassionate, and kind. And I know it hasn't all been an easy road, but so many lessons have been learned and taught over the years by this group of students. From helping them remember their library books to return on library day, or remembering their instrument for their band or orchestra lesson, to helping them navigate moving to middle school and meeting new friends and changing classes for the first time, to figuring out what clubs to join or sports to play or classes to take, all while they were trying to figure out a little more about who they were as a person and what the future might hold. So families, you have done some amazing work, and we thank each and every one of you. And I'm going to ask the Titan graduates to be, would you please join me in giving a round of applause for your family members here and online. Faculty and staff, I continue to be grateful for each of you and the mark you have left on this class of 2022. We all know that the memories of impactful teachers, administrators, coaches, advisors, and staff members can and will stay with you for a lifetime. Your professionalism, your unwavering commitment, and caring attitude towards your students has changed their lives, and I thank you. Today is a day of anticipating what is to come and celebrating all that it took to get here. Seniors, you have had far from typical high school careers, and yet you have grown and developed skills in and out of school that I'm confident will make you successful in life after graduation. And when I think of someone I know that developed skills that helped him beyond graduation, I often think of my grandfather. I have vivid memories of him as he began his career as an iron worker and eventually built homes as a side business. I always marveled at his ability to fix absolutely anything. He always said you could be successful at any task with the right tools. And believe me, every tool in his toolbox had a purpose, and every tool was used. And to see him build something from start to finish was pretty incredible. And I was more than honored that upon his passing, he gifted me his toolboxes. I share this memory with you because I know that this stadium is filled with people who have helped lay the all-important foundation of who you are and giving you the tools that you need to succeed. We take our job in Webster very seriously to provide your starter toolbox, theoretically, of course, and some of the most important tools we offer to you are our essential skills. You all know them: resilience, perseverance, collaboration, integrity, time management, self-management, and communication. This is a great start, and you may even refine or sharpen some of those as you move into life's next chapter. But now, you are in control. Now you get to decide what specialized tools you can add as you move beyond high school. And just as with my grandfather's toolbox, whatever you decide to add to your toolbox, make sure it has a purpose and you know where to find it. Because you will draw on this toolbox for the rest of your life. And you will be able to pay it forward with those around you by sharing your tools. Class of 2022, it's time to look forward with hope and anticipation of all that lies ahead. And before me, I see a class with abounding potential and all the essential skills, or rather tools, necessary to keep growing as change makers, caring citizens, and loving family members. It has been an honor and a privilege to have you in our schools and part of our One Webster and Thomas families, and I can't wait to see what all of you build. Congratulations, graduates.
Good evening, everyone. I'm so glad we could all be here together tonight on this beautiful evening in Webster. My name is Sophie Bemet, and I am the senior class treasurer. Please join me in welcoming our first student voice this evening, Stephen Woodward, delivering his speech entitled My Life's Journey.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Stephen Woodward, and I have attended Webster schools from kindergarten until now. I appreciate each one of you to share in our special night and to celebrate the Webster Thomas class of 2022. I want to thank Mr. Neenan, Mr. Weedor, and the Webster Thomas High School staff for giving me this opportunity to speak to all of you this evening. We have much to celebrate and many people to thank. I've titled my speech this evening, My Life's Journey. A challenge and a process. Those two words are how I would describe my education as a Webster student over these years. Not many of you may know this, but I have dyslexia. That basically means that I learn differently than many of my other classmates. It is not an intelligence thing, and no, I do not see my letters backwards, as many may assume. but it was a challenge to learn, to read, write, and comprehend what I was reading, due to the way my brain processes new material. Maybe I can explain it to you this way. It's kind of like learning to drive on a car. You can either learn to drive on a car with an automatic transmission or on a manual transmission. Both types of vehicles will get you to your destination, but it is a bit more challenging to learn to drive on a stick. There are simply more steps you have to go through to get your car started, to accelerate, to shift through the gears, to brake, etc. You can learn to be an excellent driver on either one, but the process of learning to drive a manual will require more steps and likely more practice in order to master it. That is the same as dyslexia. You can never get rid of it. I have it for life. I'm not upset about it, but it has always been a challenge for me to do well in school. Much like driving a standard, it requires me to take more steps, more effort, in order to master the same material that my classmates are learning. Webster Thomas played a major role in me advancing in my education after Clem South and Willink. I so appreciate all the help Webster Thomas has given me in special education assistance in my classes to help me become a better student over these past 4 years. I am thankful that I have had the privilege to get to know so many staff members and to learn from them and their experiences. I have had some very good teachers, and I've had the privilege to take some important classes that, in my opinion, can help you throughout all of life. An example is this: financial literacy, learning how to deal with finances and manage a budget. Word processing, learning how to type and how to type faster. Public speaking. Now, in my opinion, everybody should take this class, even if you don't plan to be a newscaster, politician, or pastor. I want to thank also my friends on the morning show and Miss Strite, who I know is probably back there. I am thankful for the opportunity I had to work with each one of you over these past 4 years. We can all benefit from learning to be good communicators throughout our lives. Concert, band. You work together as a team to put the best product on stage for the school. I also want to bring attention to the Best Buddies Club and Unified Sports that have been able to participate in for a few of my years here at Thomas. I kind of understand what it's like to struggle in school, and I kind of have a heart, especially for those whose challenges are greater than mine. I have enjoyed participating in Unified Bowling and basketball and attending Best Buddies meetings and their annual walk. As I close tonight, I would like to remind each of us that no matter what your challenges may be or how hard a day you're having, you can always share a smile, speak a kind word, and look for ways to serve others. I am thankful to God for allowing me to be a Thomas Titan, to learn so much within these classrooms, and to make it to this day. Finally, our high school graduation. Way to go, class of 2022, and I thank each one of you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Good evening, Titan students and families. My name is Carolyn Mack, and I am the class secretary for the class of 2022. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to our next speaker, Jalen Morales, delivering his speech titled Everybody Makes Mistakes.
The sun is no joke. All right. Distinguished guests, friends, and family in this year's graduating class, we did it. The moment we waited for, and 289 days later, it is finally upon us. In case it hasn't been said yet, congratulations. We overcome so many challenges and struggles in high school, and I think we tend to forget to give ourselves a pat on the back. School has taught me many things, from the Cuban Missile Crisis during the Cold War in U.S. history to interpreting the rate of change of exponential models in Algebra 2. If you know me personally, you'll know which one was the actual crisis to learn about. And with such knowledge on historical events, math equations, and so on, the real lessons didn't come from the books. They came from the interactions in and out of the classroom. We learned that we have a voice in the world. We learned to take chances even if they're risky. We learned that we are never alone. And most importantly, we learned that it is okay to make mistakes. Your whole life, you're going to be judged on how you act, what you look like, and the things you do. You spill chocolate ice cream on your shirt while in public? Who cares? At least they know you have good taste. You're late on your first day of a new job? Good thing you'll have a second day to try again. And no, I'm not saying to be unprofessional. My point is, don't base everything on mistakes you made. The world will still be the same. Yes, it is okay to be scared of that. It's okay to fear making mistakes, but it's not okay for that fear to stop you from trying again. And no, that was not from a fortune cookie, believe it or not. The opportunity of making mistakes in high school opened up the doors to always try again, because in the real world, doors are endless and variety is limitless. It's also not going to be easy, but don't let the challenge defeat you. Be the boss. We all have it in us, we just have to let it out. So after today, and in the years to come, I probably won't remember the Cuban Missile Crisis, or whatever I did in Algebra 2, or any other math class I've taken, because I know I was doing it wrong. But I remember the teachers and the staff that guided me towards the right direction, the classmates that made every day eventful, my friends for the unforgettable memories, my family, just because they're my family, but most importantly, the school itself for making it okay to learn from my mistakes. So if there's one last thing to tell my class, it is to make mistakes and have fun doing it. I'm Jalen Morales, and farewell, Titans of 2022.
I have the honor today of introducing our final student voice for the class of 2022. Please welcome Caroline Cunningham to the podium to talk about a Titan journey.
Good evening, fellow seniors. My name is Caroline Cunningham. Even though I don't know most of you personally, I'm really happy to be here with all of you today to celebrate together and face-to-face the culmination of 4 great years at Webster Thomas. Today is about all of us, all that we have been through and all that we have accomplished in spite of ridiculous odds. Though we want to forget that it ever happened, COVID did a number on us. It stole our smiles and it stole our basic human connections. I don't think you can even begin a graduation speech in this era without at least acknowledging its impact. For nearly 2 years, we weren't able to see each other's faces, aside from those occasional moments when we secretly pulled down our masks just so we could see each other and be like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in ages, even though you've seen them most of the time. As the pandemic dragged on, I felt like we were missing out on life. And when you feel that you're missing out on life, you begin to see things differently. For me, I just wanted to see faces again. It wasn't normal. For months and months, there were no smiles to cheer anyone on and no expressions to help us understand. And as weird as it sounds, I wouldn't even mind seeing an angry face at once. But that's what makes this day so special, because look at all of you. Look at all of your beautiful faces and beautiful smiles. I'm so happy to see them again. And it doesn't matter if I know you, you know me, or you don't know me altogether, because we all know that we shared something pretty major together that has made us appreciate even the strangers in our lives. Like true Thomas Titans, I like to think that we have come through it all in the best way with titanic efforts. Not like the movie Titanic with Rose trying to hang on to Jack, which, by the way, I think she could have done a better job, don't you? There was plenty of room on that boat. No, our titanic efforts were entirely different. When our true selves were suppressed by mass and distance and fear, we kept showing up. Did we falter? Sorry. Did we I am so sorry. Did we falter? Well, of course. The struggles weren't easy. I mean, how many of you don't care if you ever heard the word Zoom again? But did we triumph and come out on the other side? Look around and I think you'll have your answer. We are titans, captains of our own destinies, made stronger by our struggles. When I first became part of the Titans family as a freshman in 2018, I didn't think I could ever live up to the Titan name. I'd struggled my whole academic life with an IEP. An IEP is an individualized education program designed to help students who have learning disabilities. Mine was an auditory processing issue. They say it's something like dyslexia for the ear. What I heard was jumbled to me, and because of it, I wasn't able to understand inferences and misunderstood much of what was said to me. Not only did it make it hard for me to learn, but it caused me to withdraw from people, which made it hard for me to make friends. My Catholic elementary and middle schools did the best they could with the resources they had, and I made some progress, but I was still far behind my peers when I arrived at Thomas. However, through exceptional resources and programs, and the titanic efforts of my wonderful Thomas teachers, case managers, and guidance counselors who implemented them, I'm here today on this stage actually communicating with all of you on graduation day. Like, that's unbelievable to me. Graduation. Before I came here, I never would have imagined finishing high school, let alone graduating as an honor roll student. I'm so grateful that I'm able to be here with all of you. I truly feel like I belong again and that I'm a part of something again. I feel like a Titan. Titans, we are leaders. We are warriors. Oops, sorry, wrong school. Our presence is large and our impact larger. Like I said before, the titanic efforts of the people around me, from all my teachers and all my peers, have made my 4 years here unbelievably wonderful. What an impact you've had on me. I mean, look at all of you, the ones I know, and the ones I didn't get to know, and I see so many of you in myself. I see the misfits, the unnoticed, the popular, the shy, the boisterous, the happy, and sometimes the sad. But what I see mostly when I look out at all of you is kindness and goodness. It stands out above all things. And you all have proven this kindness and goodness to me and to one another, day in and day out, especially during these last couple of years. Sure, we don't always agree on everything. We don't always get each other's jokes. We don't always fit in with each other. But ultimately, when it all comes down to it, we are one, we are a family, we are one and we are family. We are Titans who have made some titanic efforts together. I want to thank Principal Weedor and the Speech Selection Committee for giving me this wonderful opportunity to speak to all of you today. It's a rare and wonderful thing to be able to tell all your teachers and fellow students how you feel about them. As I leave Thomas, I will remember walking through the hallways and witnessing your love for one another, for this school, especially on the occasional snow days, for your teammates, and especially your love for togetherness. It goes without saying that our class and the classes from the past couple of years were really tested. We found out the hard way just how much we really needed each other. We got back what was taken from us, our smiles, our laughter, our good times, and our ability to truly thrive. We are, once again, the Titans that we're always meant to be. Now, when you toss that cap in the air today by the sign, imagine that you are tossing away all the cares and frustrations that got you here now. Imagine a future that you know can be better because you know that you can survive everything. Today marks a beautiful achievement gained against all odds. Please cherish it forever and always look towards the future with open hearts, open minds, and especially open arms ready to give Titanic hugs. Thank you and God bless.
Good evening. I'm Julian Beament, the president for the class of 2022. I would like to direct your attention to our small stage where the Thomas Select Choir will be performing Hero by Walter Offensief and Mariah Carey, arranged by Aaron Jensen.
There's a hero. If you look inside your heart, you don't have to be afraid of what you are. There's an answer if you reach into your soul, and the sorrow that you know will melt away. Then a hero comes along with the strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. 'Cause when you feel like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and you'll finally see the truth that a hero lies in you. Lord knows that dreams are hard to follow, but don't let anyone tear them away. Hold on, there will be tomorrow, but in time you'll find a way. And then a hero comes along with the strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. So when it feels like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and you'll finally see the truth that a hero lies, a hero lies, a hero lies, a hero, that a hero lies in you.
Thank you all so much, Select. That was awesome. Congratulations, class of 2022 students and families. What's up, everyone? My name is Connor Bracey, and I'm the class vice president. It's my absolute pleasure in introducing our keynote faculty speaker, Todd Stoll. Now, dandy is a term used to describe something excellent. I used it this morning at rehearsal, and I wasn't quite sure of its definition. But now since I know it, I can say with absolute certainty that Todd is both distinguished and quite dandy, and he is probably my favorite art teacher here at Thomas. I've had the pleasure of having him for Radio Club, and the countless memories I've had make me feel so honored to introduce this spectacular man. So please join me in giving the absolute of warmest welcomes to one Mr. Todd Stoll.
Good evening, friends. So we have now surpassed a full period of school. Does anyone need a stretch? Okay. I'm incredibly honored to be sharing this evening with all of you tonight. We wouldn't be here without the guidance and caring of all of our families and counselors and administrators. Many of them are in attendance today. So let's give them a big, loud thank you. Nailed it. Oh. And I need to give a big thank you to my people. My wife, who's my constant inspiration and my editor, and my kids, my other two favorite people, who gave me some of the fodder for today's speech. No matter what anyone may say, today is a special day. You may be the first in your family to graduate high school. You may have worked harder than you thought possible to figure out what Mr. Byer was talking about in AP Bio. Or maybe you are just looking forward to moving on and moving out. But no matter how you've lived the last 18 years, you've made it to this stadium, about to cross that stage, and that is a big deal. I remember my own graduation very vividly. It wasn't very long ago, 1997. Okay, maybe that was a long time ago. Mr. Neenan was there.
I was there.
He didn't graduate with me, though. He was a teacher. Just, yeah, clarification is important. But in that dark room at the Rochester Convention Center, before we crossed the stage, one of my favorite English teachers, who was my senior year Brit Lit teacher, Bob Shaw, spoke to us from the heart. He repeated one phrase throughout the speech: carpe diem, seize the day. To be honest, that's all I remember about his speech. I can't remember anything else he said, which I guess takes some pressure off me right now. And this fact made me realize that the stories I tell you in the next 5 to 7 minutes don't really matter. All I need to do is come up with one meaningful phrase to tie it all together. So I looked to quotes. Those of you that know me know I love a good quote, but that didn't feel authentic. I wanted to come up with my own wisdom for you on this most special Friday. So here's what I came up with. Are you ready? I need this to stick with you. You are probably going to fail, but you have to trust the process. Growing up, I was kept pretty safe. I lived in what I would describe as TV show comfort in Fairport. I had to have written directions to go into the city of Rochester, although I didn't go by myself as much as I wish I would have now. We didn't have Google Maps, by the way. And I always had to have good grades. I was scared of failing. I didn't think I was allowed to fail. I always did well in school, but I never took any AP classes. I never really pushed myself out of my comfort zone. I chose not to take enriched social studies in 9th grade because we had to type all our homework. Imagine. I never even considered that failure would actually be good for me. So remember my words of advice so you can be better than me. You're probably going to fail, but you have to trust the process. Some of you out there probably have lived your 18 years in a style that's really similar to mine. In a way, you're so lucky. The world probably feels like it's laid out in front of you. You have a plan. That plan will proceed in order. But many of you have not lived like this. You pushed yourself out of your comfort zone. You took some safe risks, and maybe you failed. Maybe you failed a lot. I don't necessarily mean you got a 30 in A push, but maybe you tried out for modified baseball like I did and didn't make the team like I didn't. But unlike me, you tried again. You worked hard for the year in between, and you made it next time. That failure stunted me because, like I said, failure wasn't part of my life. But now, failure is a regular part of my life. Why, you ask? First of all, because I'm a parent. As everyone back there and over there can attest to, being a parent means that my life consists of daily failures. Not failures that are singularly life-changing, but more like a series of sidesteps that continue to define my life. In their younger years, my wife and I tried so hard to guide our kids towards really good, meaningful, high-quality culture. We took them to the RPO, countless art museums and murals. But in the summer before 4th grade, we had to hear nothing but Jake Paul, songs about cats flushing toilets, and whatever commercial jingles were on repeat on YouTube. But all these things that felt like failures now just seem insignificant and funny moments in our lives. Now we just joke about them. Thankfully, 5 years later, my son chooses to listen to jazz instead of Ohio fried chicken. Google it, or don't actually. And my daughter draws and paints constantly. Bigger than Jake Paul, what you need to realize is that you may feel like a failure, but it's all a process. You have to just be conscious of it and learn from it. Remember, folks, you're probably going to fail, but you have to trust the process. Although my family didn't encourage me to fail, they did allow me to follow my heart, even though it didn't align with the path that they hoped I would follow. My great-great-uncle Alva started Rochester Lumber Company in 1909, and every male in my direct lineage made their career there. It defined our family life. If you know me, you know that I am very much not a businessman. What I am leads me to the second reason that I fail continually in my life. I am an artist. I was a drawing and wood sculpture major in college. For artists, this is an unusual combination, but there are some magical parallels. First of all, remember how I grew up in a lumber company? Well, my main tools in the career path I chose both revolve around those boards I hauled around every summer of high school. But more deeply, these two artistic processes are diametrically opposed. Drawing with a pencil is extremely forgiving. All pencils come with what on the end? An eraser. They are the magical undo button of analog life. Why are you laughing? The eraser allows you to go headfirst into a work of art or writing without the overarching fear of failure. All my artists out there know that whatever wall you run into can be pretty easily overcome with that tool. It makes you feel a bit invincible, but it certainly doesn't keep you from feeling like a failure when you have to use it. I just finished a drawing of my son alongside my Drawing 2 class. And when I was finished with his face, I realized that I had drawn his left eye in the wrong place. I showed it to a lot of people, and they all shrugged it off and said, "It looks fine, it's great." But I couldn't shake the knowledge that I had done it wrong, and I needed to fix it. So I got my trusty eraser and got rid of it. I trusted that I would be able to overcome my failure with another shot at it. It was pretty nerve-wracking to erase it, but I did it. My life as an artist has been a series of these moments. The artistic process pretty much always goes the same way. Number one, excitement. This piece is amazing. I can't wait to see how it comes out. Step two, doubt. I no longer feel like I know what I'm doing. What do I do now? Step three, feelings of failure. I suck at art. Why do I do this still? Exactly. Thank you. 4, resilience. Okay, maybe this won't be terrible after all. We'll see. And last, number 5, success. I made it. I'm so proud. Check this out, everybody. So the eraser, or sometimes layers of paint, allow me to make it through this process with confidence and end successfully. But let me tell you about wood sculpture. You start out with a tree trunk or some boards. You make your first moves with a chainsaw. Look at that 19-year-old. Then you continue with these really sharp knives called chisels. Those tools can only subtract material. Once you chisel it off, it's not coming back. You have to have one of 2 mindsets with wood sculpture. Either you live in continual worry about making a mistake, or you go in with the knowledge that you will make a mistake, and that is ultimately what's going to take you where you need to be. I call this failing forward now. I didn't quite get that when I was in college, but I wish I had. I'm sure it was wisdom that was imparted upon me, but I certainly wasn't ready to hear it. I made many mistakes in my sculptures, and it led to continual frustration. I got stuck on stage 3 of the process. Remember, failure, I suck at art, why do I do this? Had I absorbed this message about failure and trusting the process more fully, I would have been able to fast forward through at least the first 10 years of my art-making career, trying to control my art rather than letting go and letting the mistakes guide me. As an artist, I had these 2 tools. In your own lives, I hope that you come to figure out what are your erasers and what are your chisels. There will be moments where you can go back and fix your mistakes. And there will certainly be times where you just need to press on, moving through a failure and carving a new way forward. Be open to those surprising moments of enlightenment. Remember, my friends, you are probably going to fail, but you have to trust the process. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stahl. I'd now like to draw your attention to our small stage and introduce our principal, Mr. Weeder, Superintendent Brian and Neenan, who will be awarding diplomas to the class of 2022.
Julian William Bement. Sophia E. Bement. Connor Mark Bracey. Caroline Jean Marie Cunningham. Carolyn Ann Mack. Jalen Mackay Morales. Stephen Ross Woodward. Ava Catherine Abate. Eli Charles Adams. Jaden Daniel Ajay. Sophie Adarante. Johnny J. Alberin. Saleh Al-Shaibi. Madison Altieri. Jack Altmeyer. Sage Olivia Altabelli. Caitlin Claire Anschutz. Daniel R. Antasico. Nikolaus Antonau. Colby Armstrong. Nina Marie Arroyo. Elliot Ash. William G. Bainbridge. Abby Baker. Jaden Barnwell. Jake Barry. Hunter Beach. Abigail Berardo. Jolie Elise Bermudez. Ethan Ballone. Luke C. Bilo. James Bolton. David Bonin. Isabella Bavenzi. Jonathan Bauer. Hannah Bowerman. Ryan Elizabeth Boyer. Jacob Ryan Brandenburg. Dylan Briggs. Owen Patrick Britt. Justin Bricolo. Gianna Marie Bryan. Riley Anne-Marie Bush. Tyler Dustin Buss. Kyle Ashton Calvin. Owen Michael Cameron. Sergio Caraballo. Jackson Carey. Martin Carey. Trevor Caruso.
Yeah, Trevor! Woo! That's my boy!
Pau Kaze Barrera. Carter Julian Catron. Thomas James Chambers. Gianna Ladelia Church. Christiana Lee Ciotti. Aiden J. Civiletti. Charlie Coleman. Kaylee Collis. Connor Collis. RJ Compton. Ariana Cookingham. Nathan J. Kuhn. Alexander Joseph Colon. Donovan Cullen. Amaria Cummings. Jack D'Ambrosia. Matthew D'Ambrosio. Owen Dalberth. Marissa Lee Damon. Caroline Darling.
Giovanna Degatano. Chloe Deegan. Molly DeLeo. Jesse Denman. Jenna DeRoller. Rocco DeStefano.
There you go! Yeah!
Caden Aiden DeWitt. Ariana DeCesar. Devin Douglas. Trevor Dowling. Julia Madison Endicott. Dylan Reed English. Lydia Crystal English. Marley Sharif English. Elizabeth H. Fabian. Jillian Rose Fame. Leah Farrell. Marco Fernandez.
Yeah, Marco!
Tyler Ernest Ford. Shane Fordham.
Let's go, Shane!
Benjamin First. Parker Gabry. Brennan Gallatin. Aiden Galloway. Austin Galloway. Natalie Gantris. Rebecca Gantris. Emile Gascon. Isabella Rose Giorgioni. Dakota Giudici.
Yeah, Dakota! That's my boy!
Jackson Glosky. Daniel Goel. Evan Gorthy. Chase Gosting. Daniel Jeffrey Gramowski. Lillian Francis Grimm. Jacob Thomas Groff. Carter Jacob Grupp. Nico A. Gurio. Olivia R. Gutman. Aiden Wusher Hall. Ethan Samuel Hamza. Rachel M. Harper. Caitlin Hazelton. Emma Grace Herkins. Emily G. Hayden. William Henry. Chloe Hill. Nathan Patrick Hoban. Thomas E. Holtz. Taylor Howley. Sebastian Hudek. Eric Wynn.
Let's go! That's right. Yes, sir.
Kenzie Ives. Nadia Jaworowitz. Ashley Jopp. Carly Jopp. Jonah Joyelle. Ciara Talenko. Nathaniel J. Kelly. Delaney Ann Killian. Hannah Kingsley. Elliot M. Kincaid. Mackenzie Ray Kinley. Daniel Klimachev. Skylar J. Klimo. Megan Nicole Nope. Francesca Court. Jillian Grace Kraft. Lucas Creighton. Aaron M. Kruger. Chris Quiava. Dominic William Quiava. Gavin Kulak. Jackson Kulik. Dylan LaChance. Shannon Lacey.
Anna H. Langfit. Emma Elizabeth Langsky. Drew R. Later. Tess Elizabeth Lazaro. McKenna Grace Leask. Nathan Gary Lee. Christopher J. Lehman. Shinyu Rain Lee. Maya Svetlana Lindgren. Yamara Lynam. Taylor A. Mayerlender. Grace Ann Mahoney. Evan R. Maltman. Grace Ann Mancuso. Alexander Brian Mangano. Mackenzie Mansfield. Jason Anthony Marasco. Isabella Sophia Marlin. Aiden P. Marquez. Simon T. Marr. Mary Ella Marapizzi. Madison E. Martello. Abigail Marie Martinez. Delaney Grace McDonald. Ryan McLarney. Chloe Rose McWilliams. Brenna Lynn Meager. Shannon Lacey Menz. Allison K. Metcalf. Ryan J. Myers. Gray Masichi. Jason A. Michaels. Allison J. Mormon. Andrew J. Mormon. Michaela R. Mormon. Luke Monfort. JJ Montemero. Mallory E. Morrison.
Go, girl!
Joseph D. Murray. Alec Michael Mastico. Rose Lynn Nicastro. Xavier Ryan Nielsen. Sophia Nealmeyer. Bryce T. Nitch. Kiana Sage Nucitelli. Sophia Jolie Nudd. Angelina O'Connor. Muammer Obradovic. Hannah E. Olmo. Alexandra Opart. Kate Estelle Oxley. Braden Michael Padgham. Aniela Palma. Gabriella E. Panone. Jonah T. Park. Morgan Parkinson. Evan C. Pashalidis. David J. Petz. Will S. Peters. Domenica Rose Pietratoni. Andrei Pilipenko. Caitlin Pink. Avery Grace Polizzi. Olivia Grace Posella. Diana Povio. Madison L. Prinzi. Madison Grace Quinlan. Andrew David Quinn. Caitlin Quinn. John William Quinn. Alexander Ramirez. William A. Richardson. Krista Rickard.
Jack R. Ryder. Caitlin Rose Rittler. Shawnee G. Rodell Davis. Stephanie M. Roeder. Jacob H. Rothfuss. Frank C. Russo III. Ella Rose Rinkowitz. Kian N. Saya. Timothy B. Salamone. Idris Fidel Salem. Leanna L. Simolis. Abigail Elizabeth Shire. Dylan R. Schmidt. Olivia Carolyn Schneider. Evan Schreiber. Aiden Mark Schroeder. Heidi Schwartz. Denasia Monique Scott. Sohail Sheikh. Joshua Shales. Ethan Timothy Shappy. Lydia J. Shaw. Anthony Joseph Shura. Najla M. Silmi. Logan Jeffrey Simpson. Eve Sleeman. Emily Catherine Slight. Christopher W. Smith. Harrison T. Smith. Emma Grace Spadoni. Zachary Spang. Ava Annette Sproba. Aiden Griffith Stappenbeck.
Let's go!
Jack Edward Stappenbeck.
Yeah, Rick! I love you, Rick! Oh, God.
Jason Starks.
Let's go, Jason! I love you! I love you, too!
Eric Nolan Stephanie. Alexa R. Strelick. Rylan J. Strelick. Jacob Alexander Sukenko. Madison Lee Talbot. Charles Tempio. Nicholas Robert F. Thompson. Morgan Thrumilis. Tegan Thrumilis. Alexander Barry Thurston. Elizabeth R. Tisa. Erin Kathleen Traver. Hunter A. Symbol. Liliana Tutrello. Nergis Tunk. Alexander T. Erlob. Mark W. Veerkamp. Karis Joe Vega. Victoria Anita Voyev. Alyssa M. Wade. Emmett Jacob Wall. Matthew R. Walters. Ellie Mae Wombold. Jacqueline Patricia Ward.
Yeah, Jacqueline!
Zachary A. Warner. Balin Michael Wayne. Oliver Thomas Webb. Lance Andrew Webster. Sydney H. Wheatman. Jared L. Weisinger. Cooper Joseph White. Lindsay L. White. Nathan M. Whitman. Luke Anthony Weedor. Ethan R. Williams. Colby B. Wilson. Garrett J. Wilson. Leah Nicole Worley. Thomas J. Wolford. Michael George Zakari. Nathan Lewis Zakari. And Stephen Christopher Zelke.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating the Webster Thomas High School graduating class of 2022.
Standing
Congratulations, everyone. Now please join me in welcoming the president of the Webster Central School District Board of Education, Mrs. Tammy Gorowski, who will be conferring our graduation status.
Thank you. Good evening, Webster Thomas families, and good evening, graduates. Would you all please rise? Oh, everyone did. By the power vested in me through the New York State Board of Regents, I present to you the class of 2022. Graduates, you may now move your tassels from right to left. You are officially Webster Thomas graduates of 2022.
All right, since I won't have the chance to be in front of anyone again, I'm gonna take a quick selfie just to remember this. Sweet, thank you guys. All right, we have a tradition here at Webster Thomas where we have a student begin our year by singing at freshman orientation, and again at our graduation ceremony to celebrate the end of our high school experience. I'm really glad I have the pleasure in introducing a dear friend of mine, since he's been a staple in the Webster community, especially since his spirit never goes unnoticed. Please join me in welcoming Alex Ramirez, who will be singing My Way by Jacques Rivaux and Claude Francois.
And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friends, I'll say it clear, I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full, I've traveled each and every highway and more, much more than this. I did it my way. Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. I did what I had to do and saw it through without exemption. I planned each charted course, each careful step along the byway, and much more than this. I did it my way. Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when I bit off more than I could chew. But through it all, when there was doubt, I ate it up and spit it out. I faced it all, and I stood tall and did it my way. I've loved, I've laughed and cried, I've had my fill, my share of losing, and now, as tears subside, I find it all so amusing to think we did did all that. And may I say, not in a shy way, and much more than this, we did it our way. For what is a man? What has he got? If not himself, then he has not to say those things he truly feels, and not the words of one who kneels. The record shows we took the blows and did it our way. Yeah, it was our way.
Class 22, baby, let's go!
So I want to thank everybody for coming tonight, and I want to hearty congratulations to our graduates on their many years of hard work, and we wish all of you the best of luck. I have one more request of the senior class. First of all, I want you to, like I said in the rehearsal, grab your diplomas, keep track of your cell phones, and we're going to walk over to the scoreboard now for our final cap toss photo. Families, feel free to start making your way down to the field if you want to reunite after the cap toss photo. And I wish everybody a safe journey home tonight. Where do you want to put it, Jamie?
Give me about 15, 20 feet in front of it.
Move back, move back. You got to move back, guys. Keep moving back toward the scoreboard. Right up to the scoreboard. Go right to the scoreboard.
Way too fast for us.
Hey. Keep moving back. Keep going. Keep moving. Keep moving. All right, get close together, everybody. Get close. Back up to the scoreboard. Get close together. You guys gonna be in the photo? Keep going, keep going.
Do we have a choice?
Hey guys, you want to get in the picture or not? You got to move into the picture. You're not in it. Move.
Bro, I can't get this out. I'm about to knock it. Ready? Go.
Are you ready? Class of 2022, are you ready? Tell me when you're ready, Jamie. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go.